Ariel Helwani at UFC 148 alongside Chael Sonnen, who faces Anderson Silva this Saturday night live on pay-per-view. And Chael, off the top, I have to commend you. A lot of guys, they reach main event status. We won't name names, but when it comes to the media workouts, they say hello, they shake some hands, kiss some babies. They don't really do much working out. You, my friend, working out the same way you did when you fought Damian Maia many moons ago. You haven't changed. It hasn't gone to your head.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, but man, I don't feel any different. I do the same thing every day.
Does the build-up to this fight feel the same as 117? Because off the top of my head, I remember you feeling very sick that week. Remember that? You were feeling very drawn out. Does it feel a little like you're dealing with less pressure and less obstacles on your way to Anderson Silva?
You know, the whole sport is different, as I'm sure you could attest since you're a veteran of it. But, you know, it changes. Like for that example, that day we talked, you know, we were in a gym and you know, there wasn't very many people there, and it was still a big hit. This place is packed, and I think in a couple of years we'll consider this a failure by those standards. So the whole sport changes, and I'm happy to change along with it. And yeah, it does feel different, but I think it's normal to feel different.
You're obviously very media friendly. Everyone loves talking to you, but it seems like last couple months leading up to this fight, you sort of went off the grid. You didn't do as much. You were quiet. Was that a calculated move on your part?
I got a call from Renzo Gracie. And when you get a call from a Gracie, it's kind of like getting a call from Randy Couture. It's you don't share your opinion. You listen, you say okay, and you hang up. And that's it.
What do you say?
He wasn't overly happy with me, but let's leave it at that.
Renzo Gracie? He hasn't been in your crossfire. We haven't heard his name come out of your mouth.
Oh, it wasn't that man. It's, you know, there's certain guys that are off limits. And, you know, the Gracies, Randy Couture, you know, those guys are MMA royalty. And if I'm told something, that's it.
Speaking of royalty, Mike Tyson is boxing royalty. He was on my show this week. I read him some quotes of yours about him. He laughed. He says he loves you. He says he's a huge fan. You've called him a wimp. You've called him a phony. Yet Mike Tyson is a fan of yours. Who would have thunk it?
I got to tell you, that's actually very cool. You know, that's actually very surprising to me. But you know, I listed publicly when I was in college, they asked me who my favorite athlete was, and I said Mike Tyson, and I met Mike Tyson, you know. Mike Tyson is incredible, and more than anything was his approach. You know, it was anger, it was fury, it was ferocious. And I make a pretty fair point that he should have fought Evander, and he should have fought him sooner. But, you know, there's no one I'd rather watch box than Mike Tyson. I could probably speak for you and everyone of our generation when we say that. You know, maybe you bring in a Sugar Ray or something. But if Mike Tyson said that, that's a tremendous compliment.
Speaking of one of the best of their time, Anderson Silva, a lot of people consider him that. It seems like you've brought out a new Anderson Silva, and at the press conference on Tuesday, it got heated. What did he say to you when you guys went face-to-face?
I'm going to keep that private. I don't know if he will. He might share it with you. You know, for me, what I thought was happening was he was trying to get disqualified. I thought, all right, he's trying to start a fight right here so that the fight doesn't happen on Saturday night. I don't know what his intentions are, and I haven't spent a whole lot of time thinking about it. But it was very hard to keep a straight face when he was doing that because it was very transparent. And what he said, you know, I don't want to say what he said. I'll let him out himself. But he said it both in Portuguese and in English. He was going back and forth. And I don't mean he said it in one language, then he said it in the other. He started in Portuguese, and then he switched, and then he finished in English again. You know, he was within the same paragraph. So, you know, it was hard to take it too serious. There you go.
Do you think he has crossed the line? He's become very personal, said a lot of personal things about you and you know, your illness and some of your past issues. Do you think he crossed the line by saying that?
Well, I was very surprised, you know, and especially when he said things that weren't true. You know, he said I was in trouble for steroids, and you as a member of the media, I would hope, would support me. You followed that case. You know good and well I was never even charged with steroids. And it was very hard to respond to. You know, it's kind of one of those, hey, do you beat your wife questions. There was no way to come out of it and go, I haven't been accused of steroids. There was just no way out of it. I was very surprised he did it. I know him. He's written his own books, and now we all know him. I never fired back on a personal level, but I've got more ammunition than you could shake a stick at. He loves to say that I broke laws, and he's very true, but there's a lot of laws out there. They're kind of hard to keep track of. There's only 10 commandments, and if he'd like to meet me and have a meeting about morality, I'll go toe-to-toe with him anytime.
All right, just a couple more things before we let you go. Heard unfortunate news about your coach. He obviously was sick, had to go to the hospital, but then on the primetime show, he returned. Will he be in your corner, at least here in Vegas, with you?
Yeah, absolutely. He's here now. He was part of the workout, and we got to be a little bit more careful. I wish we'd be way more careful, but he just won't. And he's the coach. It's like when Renzo Gracie calls. It's not a conversation. He's the coach. I don't get to share my opinion, but he wasn't supposed to be there, and he's not supposed to be here now, but he is.
What did Renzo say? Come on, you're killing me here.
Things changed after I got to hog up the phone.
Wow. That's pretty huge. How about your mom? Can you just briefly, I'm very close to my mother. She actually sent me the article about you on Yahoo. She loves that you're so close with her. What is that relationship like? We don't often see mothers in someone's corner as they prepare for a fight.
Yeah, she's there all the time, man. We've been going to practice together since I was 9 years old. And it hasn't changed. I went away to college for a little bit, and she's never missed a competition. I've had competitions out of the country, and she was there. Sorry about that. Did I step on you? She doesn't miss, so now she comes to practice each day, twice a day. That's just our relationship.
Is it true you have 20 pounds to lose between now and tomorrow?
Yes, I'm hoping a little bit less after that workout, but I got Mike Dolce with me. He says we got it under control, and I believe him.
Is that normal for you?
No.
Why is that? Why is it so much?
We've been manipulating water and doing some different stuff on the diet, and so I think it's going to come off a little easier. My attitude is much better, but then again, when you're a little heavier, when you're eating a little more, your attitude is better. So, talk to me tomorrow. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it goes. I'm going to make the weight one way or the other, but I'll let you know if it was painful or not.
Last thing, I don't mean to name drop, but I just spoke to a man who I think you know something about, CM Punk. Says unfortunately he cannot make it on Saturday night. He has a date in El Paso, but he says after you win on Saturday, dinner's on him. He knows a nice young lady who can cook you a good steak.
Really? Is that what he said? That's awesome. I heard from him last night. Yeah, he's in El Paso. He said it's hotter than a son of a gun there right now. I said, well, it's 100 degrees here in Vegas, so I'm feeling you there. But that's very nice. And if you talk to him, please tell him hello back.
Chael, always a pleasure. Good luck on Saturday night.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.